Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV Budget 2025. The first under Modi 3.0 is just around the corner, and in the course of the next few days, we will try to bring out multiple voices on the expectations of the salaried, tax-paying section of the society, the vast and growing middle class of the country. They want better jobs, better healthcare, more skilling and livelihood options, some relief from tax, and more importantly, a better quality of life. But there's one thing that every middle-class family dreams of: owning a house. How can housing be made more affordable for the middle class? Is the government doing enough? Is there a need for subsidies and incentives for first-time home buyers? Should home loans be made more accessible? What does an aspiring homeowner expect from Budget 2025? That's what we will try and understand tonight. Joining me is a panel of esteemed guests. We have Sanjay Bhusreddy from UP RERA, which is the Real Estate Regulatory Authority. He's a chairperson there. Thank you so much. We have Sameer Jasuja, who's a founder and managing director of Prop Equity from Gurugram. We have Sanjay Srivastava, who's the strategic advisor, former CEO and board director, Mahindra World City. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. To you, Sanjay, first. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's presentation of Budget 2025 on the 1st of February is being awaited for a lot of reasons. It's the first budget under the third term of the Modi government. There's a lot being talked about quality of life. The Prime Minister has been specifically talking about, the problems that urbanization, leads to. He's been talking about world-class cities. He's talking about middle class. That was one of his first speeches, once the NDA came to power. What are the certain real estate demands of the industry that could drive growth but also benefit home buyers?
See, the best part now is that post mid of 2023, the real estate boom is again on the positive side, and there is a boom. So for a period starting from 17 and then in 2020, because of COVID, etc., there were lots of problems in the real estate sector, and there was a lot of stock available, but the demand side was low. But now the sector being on the positive side and on the growth has again started. So there's a lot of new projects also which are coming up. Last year in Uttar Pradesh itself, including the NCR area, that is Gautam Buddha Nagar, Ghaziabad, Meerut, and also like Lucknow, Ayodhya, Varanasi, Prayag, a lot of projects have been sanctioned. Let me give you the figures. In 2024, UP RERA had sanctioned 259 projects. So these are new projects. And in this month itself, we have sanctioned around 25 projects. So a lot of stock is now coming up. So home buyers will have a wide range of choice. And yes, the prices have also slightly gone up, but the stocks are also available in abundance.
Okay. Mr. Jasuja, so there are incentives for affordable housing, and the government keeps talking about housing for all, and there's also budget housing that's being something that, the middle class keeps dreaming about. So are these houses being built and sold? We keep hearing about growth in the luxury segment and near stagnation in the affordable segment, Mr. Jasuja. So tell us, what is the reality, really?
So let me share some hard facts.
Mr. Jasuja, you'll have to unmute yourself.
When we talk about middle class housing, when we're talking about in tier 1 cities, when we talk about 50 lakhs to 1 crore, you'll be shocked that in the tier 1 cities, the supply has come down from 160,000 units to 110,000 units. That's a drop of 30% when the real estate market is booming. And in the affordable segment, which you talk about 0 to 50 lakhs, the drop has been 40%. So 40% in 0 to 50 lakhs, 30% in 50 lakhs to 1 crore. And let's look at the luxury now. In the luxury segment above 1 crore, we have 1,40,000 units launched in 2022. And in 2024, it's exceeded 211,000 units. That's an upward trajectory of 48%. When you look at the NCR region, there were 45,000 units that were launched in the year 2024, and less than 3,000 units were launched under 1 crore.
Right.
So there is a big demand-supply mismatch. in the markets today with the real estate prices having gone up, especially in tier 1 cities where the maximum migration is happening, where the maximum jobs are getting created. So really speaking, when you see such a big demand supply mismatch with respect to mid-income housing and affordable housing, the government really needs to step up with some initiatives in that segment. And the luxury is very profitable anyway, so they don't need to touch the luxury segment. But over the last 3 years, the demand supply mismatch favoring luxury has gone up so much that it has just become unaffordable for the middle class to buy any homes or for the developers to
So
launch
very
any
rightly
homes
pointed
because the
out.
land prices have gone up so much.
Yeah, taking off from what you said, Mr. Srivastav, have you also noticed this unusual surge in rentals in recent years? Because I look around me and that's one thing that I do observe. So isn't this growth also pushing housing costs beyond the reach of consumers?
Sure. Good evening, Vasudha, to you and your viewers. I think what you said here is a very salient point, and I think it connects very well with the points the other two gentlemen made, that if the supply for good quality supply for affordable housing will be limited, then naturally people who can't afford it and are actually taking it on rent, the rental percentages will increase, and that will actually be a two-way bind, because at one end people want to buy housing that is not available enough, and on the other hand whatever they are actually spending, the rentals are going up. And I think to solve this conundrum, the expectation of budget 2025 will definitely be that if you look from the consumer perspective, then there are three key expectations which the consumer has for affordable housing. It's about accessibility, it's about affordability, and it's about reliability, that for a person from affordable buying a affordable or a medium class housing, they are putting on a significant amount of their capital into their housing, and for that they need to have a reliable thing. And that's where I think directionally in the interim budget, FM had talked about including giving about 2.2 lakh crores over 5 years for affordable housing. But I think now we need to move to a stage where many of these plans which were announced, we need to now take it to a execution stage. And therefore there is a three-way play where developers have to ensure they create good quality housing in key locations at an affordable house which can affordable rate which can actually move fast. The government has to play its role on a select basis, that wherever there is a need, for example, government had identified transit oriented development in about 14 cities where it can come in, or there may be a need for a viability gap funding if there is an industrial worker, a blue collar worker housing which is requirement. So government has to work on this enablement mode. And thirdly, in order ultimately a person, whether taking it on rent or buying on their own, will actually need greater disposable income at their end.
Absolutely.
So therein also some kind of an incentive, either in terms of having greater greater net income in their hand, or having a dedicated deduction available for principal and interest. This is what the buyers will expect. So that's how I see the three-way play.
Okay. Mr. Busreddy, so I'll ask you a straight question. With home prices at such high levels, what is a better option, buying or renting? And what should be common man's, middle class households' expectations from budget 2025, specifically when it comes to affordability of houses?
See, affordability as on date, our two speakers were correct in their suggestions. Affordability today is, in case of metro tier 1 cities, it is 60 meter and 45 lakhs. So that is the amount. But this amount was fixed few years back. So today with the surge in prices, because maybe as being said, mismatch, though as UP RERA, we are trying our level best to ensure that a good number of projects come by good promoters in the shortest possible time. So every month we do 2-3 authority meetings so that they come very quickly, and there is a wide range of bouquet available to the buyers to go for.
Right.
In case of tier 2, it is 90 meters or 45 lakhs.
Okay.
So this amount, perhaps the government may be considering to review it. But as on date, as it stands, we all know.
Right.
And
Mr.
therefore, we will have to
that's
work
a very
it on
important point, taking off from what Mr. Bureddy and also Mr. Srivastav said. What incentives can home buyers expect from the budget? What is it that the budget should have, in fact, and also from the RBI in the coming months regarding interest rate reductions? Also, help us a little bit understand, how serious is the affordability issue in major urban centers, because that's what both panelists have also been talking about.
So like I mentioned with respect to the numbers, the government has to take a lot of proactive measures to ensure that there's enough middle-income housing and affordable housing homes come up. For that, a lot of incentivization has to be done at a drastic level, especially in tier 1 cities, to the developers, as well as bringing down and providing subsidized rates for housing finance and increasing the limit of 60 meters to maybe 70-80 meters for subsidization, because there are density issues also in NCR, for example, which is the maximum population in tier 1 cities. For example, in Gurgaon, if you have to do a project, you can't do homes under 60 meters.
Right.
And that's why the price shoots up above 1 crore. And when you subsidize via GST, via housing finance, and via reducing the stamp duty rates and registration rates in the under 1 crore segment, that could be very helpful, but all 3 steps will have to be taken.
So policy interventions are equally important. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. Experts, like you heard, are expecting moves that will significantly reduce the financial burden on home buyers and also serve as a strong incentive for prospective buyers. All of us want to own, homes in the country that we live in. Ultimately, also stimulating demand in the residential real estate market. But we'll have to wait and see what is on store for us on the budget day. That's all we have for you in the show. Tomorrow we'll be back with another concern, demand, expectation of the middle class. Keep watching NDTV.